Hi and welcome to my quick look at YouView. This is a TV system which is based around Freeview, but it adds in some other capabilities. I was looking at an alternative to Sky, had some issues with them, and I wanted to see what else was out there. I didn't want to pay a subscription to them anymore, so I wanted to see what was available for free. I should point out that I've got both a satellite connection and an aerial connection behind my TV, so I can use both. So obviously my Sky box is connected to the satellite connection, and my YouView box is connected to the aerial. So what is it? Well, it is essentially a Freeview box, but with some extra pieces on it. As you can see on the screen there, you've got your guide, which will look like most Freeview guides. So you've got your planner there. You can scroll down and pick up which channels you've got. It's fairly responsive. It can be a little sluggish at times to pick up TV listings, but you get a nice selection of channels. As you can see, you get some plus ones there. Just a usual sort of challenge, and there's some movie channels of food. It's what you would get on Freeview. If you go down to the bottom, sort of you get into the 101s and the 102s. You do get some Freeview HD channels. So you've got your BBC One there, BBC Two, ITV, Channel 4, and Channel 5 in HD, and there's a few others, but that's what you get. So you get your regular channels, and then you get your HD channels. So let's just have a look at BBC One. This is regular BBC One. It's a good picture. I think it's the news on at the minute, so it's a decent picture. And if we then bring up the BBC One HD channel, you get a very crisp picture. I've had no issues with HD on this box at all. I'm very impressed. So let's go back to the guide and let's look at some of the extra features that you've got on it. As you can see, this is the guide. That line that runs down there is your date and timeline, so that's what you've got at the minute. So it's quite easy to see that we're watching the news there, and we're halfway through the news. There's probably about half an hour left to go on it, 20 minutes left to go on it. To look at other programs, you just sort of go across, and we'll find something that I might want to either look at tonight or record. So as you can see, the listings take a little time to come up. But not massive. Look, there we've got Pointless there. So, and I like Pointless. So let's see about recording that, because this is a plus box after all. So it can handle recording of programs. This one's got a 320 gig hard drive in. So it's not massive, but it's plenty enough for most things. So bring up the guide. There you go. You've got Pointless there, sitting there. It's on at about 5:15 tonight. So you press your info button. It brings up information on Pointless, and then you can go there. So you go set recording. And it asks you whether you want to record just that episode, or whether you want to do the whole series, so it would record it each night or each time it's on. I only want to do tonight's, so we set that. And there you go. If you go back into your guide, you'll see, I think you can see that there. There you go. It's got a little R next to it, which means it's set to record. And that's it. That's how you record things. It's quite simple. When you're watching another program and something is about to record, it will come across the top of the TV saying now recording Pointless, which is a handy little feature. So how do you get to your recordings? Well, you press your blue YouView button there. This is like your settings button and your menu button. Go across to guide, go across to My View, and this will bring up what I would say on a Sky is called your planner. Alright, these are what I've already set to record. These have already been recorded, so let me just go through what you wanna watch. If you've got like a series link, so you've got more than one of each one, it will lump them together, and you just go into it and say that I've got 2 episodes of Coronation Street to watch. It's handy. It tells you what date you recorded and what channel and whether you've watched them at all. And then you've got the option to delete down there or lock it if you don't want it to be accidentally deleted. It organises them by date, but there is also the option to organise them A to Z. Quite handy if you've got quite a bit on there. Let's put that back there. To find out what you've got set to record, scheduled, you go across to scheduled, and there you go. I've got quite a bit set there. You see Pointless there, which I set up earlier. Coronation Street, EastEnders, that sort of thing. There's a couple of bits on there for my wife that she likes to record, and it all works very well. So there's your recording feature and your playback feature. If I just go into that again, sorry, and I'll show you. See, I recorded the build this morning, and so I want to watch that now. And press the big OK button. It tells you a little sort of a summary of it, and then you just press play. Sorry. Yeah, then you press the play. And there you go. So that's now playing what I recorded earlier this morning. As with any kind of recording feature, you've got your option to skip forward. You can pause it, and obviously you can stop it and watch the rest of it at another time. It says up there now that I've part watched it. So that's your recording function. It's very simple. It's a bit slow and clunky, I will admit, at times, but it works very well. So let's go back to this is your main system settings and everything else on there. You can search, which I thought was a very handy feature. So you can say, well, I don't know, what we'll look for something. We'll find out when, say, Celebrity Juice is on again. So you start typing it in. There we go. And so you go up to that. And if you click on it, it will ask you. There it is. So you can either find it on demand, so past episodes, and it's at the minute there's 4 available, or you can find out when it is on next, which should be Thursday. Yeah, there we go, Thursday at 8 new. So that's that. So you can then go along and set that to record, or set a reminder, and so there's that function for you. The search works very, very well. Then you've obviously got your settings. This is where you set up your internet connection, where you can check for, obviously you've got your PIN restrictions, you can check for signal issues and software updates, set your language and your network and everything. I'm not going to go into that, that's pretty self-explanatory. Other than looking for system updates, you really don't need to go into that very much. Because it is an online box, it's connected to my internet connection, you do have the option for having a look at players. So on here you've got all of your catch-up service there, and then you've got other services such as Netflix and Now TV, which you do have to have an account for, but it's quite handy that it's just on your box rather than having to go off somewhere on another device. UK TV Play, that's another catch-up service, and that's quite handy. We've used that quite a bit. You can go in, you get your full access to all of these on-demand services. One thing I will point out, one thing I didn't like about Sky is they seem to be very selective about what programs were available on there. So you'll get more variety if you go straight into the BBC iPlayer there than you would if you went into catch up on Skybox. For some reason you just do, I don't know why, and it really annoyed me. So that is the catch-up service via the players. So you've got all your sort of individual services there. If you go across, you've got apps as well. These are more like red button things. Sport news, seems to be some places for some others to be added at another time. I don't use that very often. In fact, I've not used it at all. And one other feature while you're in the menu that I'd like to show you is the Discover setting. It's a handy little thing. We'll have a look at films. If you're not sure of what you want to watch or you want to see what's about, then you can pick it up here. It seems to be mainly catch-up based, so you've got BBC iPlayer there. These are films that are available to watch on the iPlayer. It does bring up the ones that are on the Now box. Obviously you need a subscription for that, but that seems to be the only two that it picks up. Doesn't do the others, doesn't do ITV, there's no Netflix in there either. But it's an idea, it's a suggestions for things to watch. You can do it with films, TV, kids can do it, and you could even break it down into what sort of films you want to watch. So if you're interested in horror, it will bring up a list of horror films that are available. Most of these, by the looks of it, are on Now, which if you've got a Now subscription, that's great. If you haven't, it is a bit of a pointless... in fact, they all look like they're Now. Perhaps it's the wrong genre to look at. I'm sure there'll be some iPlayer ones in there at some point. Like I say, I don't use that very often, but if you're looking for suggestions, then that's a great idea. One last thing to show you. If you go into just waiting for it to catch up. Right, there we go. If you go into the guide, you can see there, that line there is, it's 2 o'clock now, so that's what's on. We're halfway through Doctors. Rather than going forward to find out what's on later on today or on tomorrow, go backwards to previously aired shows. This morning I missed Homes Under the Hammer, and you can see that some of the shows have got a little triangle with a circle around them, and these are programs that are directly watchable from this guide itself. So rather than having to go into each individual catch-up service, you can see that a lot of the channels offer this direct service. So go into it and it will start loading. My only fault so far with this is this method is quite slow. It seems to have to load up the iPlayer in the background, and then it goes off and finds the program that you want to watch, and it's a slow process. I've got fast fibre broadband, so it's not that. It's not because I've got a slow internet connection. My box is wired, so it's not Wi-Fi, so it's not any kind of interference there. It is just a generally slow service. There you go. Now it's going to show the BBC iPlayer splash screen. And then it will go off and look for look for the program itself. I don't suppose it's much slower than going over, grabbing your tablet or laptop and firing up which service you want to do and then finding the program itself. Perhaps it will be fixed with newer boxes or newer firmware, but it's just a little bit of a bugbear. However, once it plays, once it's up and running, it plays no problem. I don't have any issues here at all. Picture quality is great. I don't have any stuttering problems, and it works very well. No buffering, no issues at all. So it's a great way if you've missed something of just going back and getting it. I will say, I don't know if this is exclusive to Sky, but when you go and do catch up on Sky, it downloads it to your box for you to watch later on. With this, it's not a downloading service, it's a watching service. So you go back and you get it and you watch it there and then. Other than that, that's the only thing. I mean, I'm used to Sky, I've been with them for quite a while, so there are a few little quirks that are a bit different when using this sort of when you're using a different box, really, and a different service altogether. So let's get out with that. If you press your stop button, it will take you back to the whole of the iPlayer, which is a little odd, but you just go back to guide. And there's not much more to say about that. You can go back 7 days, and you can go forward 7 days, I think. There you go, that's going forward to next Monday, but you can also go back to last Monday, and it will bring up all your TV listings fairly quickly, actually. And you press the green button to bring you back to where you are right now. And there really isn't much more to say. It's a great box, it's a great service. It's obviously entirely free, unless you decide to pay for some sort of subscription service like Now or Netflix. But other than that, I've not had any issues with it at all. Signal is fantastic, picture quality is great. It's a little different to Sky, and it'll probably be different to anything else that you're used to. It took about a day or so of using to get used to it. I've had no problems with recordings or watching them back. If you set stuff to record, it records it. You can do series links so you don't ever miss an episode of EastEnders. Really am very, very pleased with it. These boxes you can pick up for about £30–40 at most. I paid a £5 for mine. Very, very, very surprised. And it's just a fantastic service for no cost. I have one slight issue with it is, and I don't know whether newer boxes do or whether it's something they're going to do in future, is but the box doesn't support Wi-Fi. You need a wired connection. It's got an Ethernet socket on the back, so it needs to be wired. My box, my router is at 30–40 foot the other way in 2 rooms, so I had to feed a cable, and it's awkward, but it turned out to be worth it. What else can I say? It's a good box. This one is a DN370T. It's got a 320 gig hard drive. It's HD compatible. It's got aerial connection. What else has it got? It's got an HDMI for HD. It's also got a SCART, which is quite handy. It's got some USB ports on the side. Not sure what they're for, whether they're for, they might just be for watching media, that sort of thing. Well, there you have it. That's my review of the YouView box, the DN370T. It's a fantastic piece of kit. I was looking for an alternative to Sky, and I think I found it. You don't get the bonus of extra channels or the ability to add them to it, but you can add in Netflix and Now TV if you want to expand it a bit. Essentially, it is a Freeview box with HD recording facilities and a nice interface to do catch-up directly within the planner itself. There's not much more to say to it. I'm off to give Sky a call to say goodbye, and I'll leave you. Goodbye. Enjoy.